Hi, my name is Holly, and this is a video synthesizing two concepts taught in developmental language disorders, differentiation, and the universal design of learning. I've decided to do this as a passion project because of my own attempt to tease apart the two concepts, and I realized that the two ideas are quite inextricably linked and actually go hand in hand quite well together in the context of the modern classroom. The content of this video comes from two YouTube videos, UDL at a Glance by Cast UDL and Differentiation in Teaching and Learning by Chris Ashlearn, both available on YouTube. UDL and differentiation are two models of education design that at first glance seem challenging to tease apart. This is of no fault to the educator trying to understand the two models. It's really because they share a lot of the same underlying principles and the same common goal, which is to increase learning opportunities for all students in the classroom. So, what is the difference between UDL and differentiation? In essence, UDL looks at modifying the curriculum to be more flexible, whereas differentiation looks at modifying specific elements of a task in order to enhance effectiveness of learning. We'll first look at breaking apart UDL into its three components: design, universality, and learning, and we'll reinforce those ideas with principles of differentiation. The design aspect of UDL means implementing a style of instruction and evaluation in the classroom that's flexible and adaptable. It's flexible, meaning it can be altered to accommodate the student's individualized pace, and it's adaptable in that the student is able to accomplish the task using their individualized skill sets and their own background experiences. The concepts of flexibility and accommodation provided by UDL are also shared by the model of differentiation. Differentiation encourages that all classroom instruction and evaluation is unique to each student, particularly through the themes of pace and relevance. Differentiation's idea of pace is the same as UDL's flexibility, setting expected timelines individualized to each student. Similarly, differentiation's relevance and UDL's accommodation are both the same idea, allowing the student's individualized background knowledge to be the driving force for their pursuit of learning. The universal aspect of UDL means that every student in the classroom will benefit from an increasingly flexible and accommodating classroom environment. This is because an accommodation made within the classroom will benefit more individuals than just the student it was established for. This idea of modifying pacing can also be reinforced by one principle of differentiation, and this is reassuring students that having an accommodation is something that everybody does have access to, and that having an accommodation is simply a way to facilitate learning, just like wearing glasses or having a hearing aid is a way that some students facilitate their learning. Knowing this can help to reduce feelings of anxiousness that a child might feel, knowing that they're working at a pace that is different from their peers. By doing so, this will free up more cognitive capacity in the student that will allow for even more learning to occur. Moreover, establishing modifications of relevance will allow every student to demonstrate their knowledge in a way that best suits them. For example, providing choices of multimodalities will benefit not only the student with fine motor impairment who can use a computer program to create his visual art project, but it will actually allow all students an opportunity to refine their already developing talents and skills, such as pottery or photography. The learning component of UDL is the desired outcome for all students attending school. There are three components that make up learning, and they're interconnected throughout the networks of the brain. First, there's recognition, recognizing the key information. Secondly, there's skills and strategies, so different ways of showing what you know. And finally, there's caring and prioritizing learning, so caring about learning because you recognize the benefit and the relevance to your own life. Knowledge, skill, and enthusiasm. These are the three critical components that facilitate the process of learning. So in order for all students to have an increased access to opportunities of learning, the curriculum needs to be designed in a way that maximizes each student's unique level of knowledge, skill, and enthusiasm. This is accomplished with flexible curriculum. Flexible curriculum is an idea posited by UDL that ensures all students are provided with the support they need to succeed while also having opportunity to be challenged. Being challenged is just as important as being supported when it comes to maximizing the benefit of learning, since being challenged is a requirement of growth. Flexible curriculum identifies and tries to overcome barriers students face. You may already know some barriers students face based on their individual education plans or interviews with parent-teacher conference. However, some barriers may not be identified yet or may be less obvious to you. Differentiation also promotes this idea of identifying barriers by having individual plans of each student's strengths and weaknesses, ideally through an individual assessment of each. Since individual assessment isn't realistic in school, there are ways that you can implement a flexible curriculum in the class that will benefit all students through multiple means. What do I mean by multiple means? Well, there are a number of things that can be modified within the classroom that can help to create an environment of flexible curriculum. So firstly, there are multiple means of representation. So this can help students at their various levels of access to knowledge. So some examples of providing multiple means of representation within the classroom include providing both written and spoken explanation of a task, using graphics to accompany a lesson plan, and providing definitions to target vocabulary words. Next, there's multiple means of action and expression. This allows a student to demonstrate their knowledge using a skill that they feel most competent and capable with. Multiple means of action and expression can be employed in the classroom by providing students with choices of how a project could be completed. For example, doing a written versus a video essay. Examples of choices should be provided to help students understand the level of detail and time that is being expected of them for a given project. Finally, there's multiple means of engagement. Providing students with options of the material that they can engage with during a class will provide them with a sense of autonomy. Allowing students to find and pursue topics they feel personally connected to or inspired by is a way to ignite intrinsic motivation within a student. This motivation is the key to persevering through and overcoming challenges, which, as we know, is a critical component of growth. Providing multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement is an idea championed by UDL, but to no surprise, it is also reinforced by differentiation, namely the concept of creating a supportive environment. Differentiation inspires a classroom environment that's non-threatening, accepting of mistakes, and welcoming of differences. Providing students with multiple examples of possible ways to express their knowledge, such as showcasing completed projects from previous year's students, is one way to encourage differentiation throughout your classroom. A supportive environment is further fostered by setting out clear expectations of learning outcomes for project requirements. This support should be offered throughout the learning process. For a project, this might look like setting individual meetings with each student to approve their topic proposal and breaking the project up into multiple short-term goals with a clearly established expectation of manageable timelines. For classroom learning, it might look like clearly establishing expectations with all students of what topics, language use, and behavior is acceptable in the classroom. These classroom expectations are not only linked to the ideas of anti-bullying, but they also allow all students to have the opportunity to express themselves during group activities. Some examples include providing individual whiteboards for students to express their contributions to the class conversation and limiting hand raising to a certain number for each student during the classroom discussion. Differentiation can also be used to inform the division of a class for group work. There are many different ways a class can be divided, and there's good reason for each way. Some examples include grouping students by similar ability levels. This provides an opportunity for students that are more advanced in a subject to complete a task with fewer supports and more opportunities to apply skills of inference, while still allowing students at the rudimentary or novice level to engage in the same topic but with increased supports. Another option is mixing students of various skill levels and experiences to foster an environment of students supporting students. Another third option is dividing groups based on interests, either by pairing students with similar interests together to enhance intrinsic motivation, or by mixing various interests as a way to learn more about and celebrate each other's differences. It is, however, important to remember that sharing of differences should always be provided as an option to a student. It is never a student's responsibility to provide education to others, whether that's their peers or their teachers, about their culture, their disability or medical condition, or any other aspect of their self-identity. It's the responsibility of the teacher to conduct research so that they can provide topics and styles of teaching that are culturally sensitive, relevant, and accessible to all students in the classroom. So there we have it, a brief attempt at synthesizing two complex but overlapping concepts of universal design of learning and differentiation, which are two models that can be applied to the modern day classroom, and for good reason. Not only are you increasing opportunities for students to learn, but you're also fostering an environment that is welcoming of diversity and celebrates everybody's differences. Isn't it great that everybody here plays a different instrument? It would be a little tedious if everyone played the trumpet in that band. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for doing your due diligence and using evidence-based practice to inform your classrooms and create specialized, compassionate, lifelong learners.